What's going on, Keller Williams? It's Fred Moore here from New England region, and I have special guest here, Miss Brooke Silva. How are you, Brooke?
Hello, Fred.
So we are going to talk to you all about the sunset of our very long overdue eEdge accounts and what's going to happen come the end of this year. So we're only a couple weeks away. So we want to make sure that you are well prepared of what's going to happen during this transition and how to make sure that you best prepare for it so that come January 1st and you log in completely not hungover at all, you're going to be ready to go and make those phone calls to your database.
Right. So you don't want them to wait till 12/31 to call us or to figure out a plan?
No. Hopefully we can preemptively get them into command on some smart plans, wish them a happy holiday and get to enjoy our time off.
And what command can offer our agents and the value that they can bring to their clients or the people they're nurturing to become clients is so different, right? We're often talking about value in our market center and the things that we're bringing to the agents to help get, personalized newsletters, touches that matter, and get them in contact with their clients in different ways. Now more than ever, it's more important to make those human connections over automation. So I'm really excited to help our agents move their eEdge data into command and show them just the basics of getting going, right? Building that healthy database, cleaning that data before we getting in. But more important, let's just get it out of eEdge. So that's what you and I are going to talk about today is how do you get the data out of eEdge? And it's so scary fast. Like, boom, it's done. And you don't have to be a tech wizard.
Awesome. I'm excited. Let's jump right into it. Brooke, you want to just jump right into eEdge for us and show us how to get that information?
Absolutely. So when you are in My KW, you should be able to see at the top this eEdge control panel. So if you click on new leads, it's going to push you over to market leader. It takes a minute. Now, everybody's been getting this pop-up and ignoring it. I have a lot of agents saying to me, I never saw this. I didn't know it was going away. This has been up for 2 weeks now. So a lot of us just ignore it. We want to get past it and get to our data, but these are important to read because it says to close this notice, click the X and you will not see this notice anymore. So a lot of people are bypassing it. All right, so I've already cleaned out this database, so there's no client data there for us to worry about. So if you go up to contacts, very last thing, export contacts. We're going to keep it just how we see it as contact status all. You click that export button and it's going to give you a CSV of all the people you had in eEdge. And now I highly recommend that you look through this data. You work with your market center tech trainer or your director of agent services on how to clean this up because messy data is sometimes harder to work around, right, Fred? Like we talk about this often. We see so many imports where they're missing area codes because in Hampshire, we have one area code. So a lot of times they don't put area code in.
Yeah, we were just talking about that this morning. We were trying to upload a database and some of the addresses were kind of funky. We noticed a lot of duplicates in there. So what I've seen, and I'm sure Brooke, you've seen this a lot too, is the agents that spend the time up front cleaning up that CSV file, that Excel sheet that they're going to have with all of their information before they upload it into command, save so much time and so many headaches once they're inside command trying to set up these smart plans we're going to talk about.
So much time because if you give the database just a little love, like I always call my database a cheeseburger. I want a big, juicy cheeseburger, right? We talk about this often when I'm on doing tech stuff with you. I want a big, juicy cheeseburger. I want all the fixings, all the sauces, and I want to take a big, yummy bite. I can't do that if I'm only given meat and cheese. I want it all. And we're seeing a lot of pain right now, right? Because what do people want to do right now? What do they want to mail?
They want to be sending out these Christmas cards, these holiday cards, Happy New Year's.
Right.
Want to actually be touching their contacts with purpose.
And you can't do that if you don't have the addresses, right? So this is a painful learning moment right now for a lot of our agents where they're learning that their database has some big holes. So when you are in command, let's see whose I can jump into. I'll jump into my training one. You actually have database health. That's something that a lot of the other CRMs we're playing around with don't have. So we're going to tell you right away, what's your database health, right? So as I'm entering these people in and I'm looking at how can I get my health score up and how can I have the best cheeseburger database, I'm going to know right away.
So Brooke, what are the most important things that we should have inside of our contact card? Or in this case, we're talking about the CSV file. What are the key components that we want to make sure we have before we upload?
Everybody needs their own seat. And I know that's really difficult. I've manipulated a lot of databases over the last few years.
What do you mean by your own seat?
So everybody needs their place at the table, right? You don't come in and sign as Fred Moore and wife, right? On papers, everybody is a aunt. They're not signing John Smith and Jane Smith, right? So AJ needs his own seat at the table. Brooke needs her own seat at the table. Same thing in command. So CRM best practices are not to have this be AJ and Brooke Silva. Best practices is AJ has his own contact record, Brooke has their own contact record, and then we're going to connect them as spouses. You can also see he's at 100% because I've got some key pieces of information. I have a full name. I have a phone number. I have an email. I have an address. I have a lead source. I also have where he works and what his job title is. I have a ton of information. I also have birthday and I have all kinds of information about how to find him on the different social media. And this poor guy is my husband. So full disclosure, I beat the heck out of this profile. This poor man gets put on smart plans and taken off constantly, deleted, re-added, funny tags are put on, funny tags are taken off. He probably had 40 neighborhoods at one point. He's my poor pet thing.
Let's run down the list really quick then. So in order for us to get to 100%, we need a full name.
Mm-hmm.
We need a phone number, email address, and address. And what does that get us to for percentage?
I think that one's 80, right?
Yep. So 20% each, right?
Yep.
And then we have the remainder pieces as 4% each.
Yeah. Lead source. How'd you get them?
From? Yeah.
Are they your sphere? Did they come from a Facebook ad? Did they come from a referral? If they're my sphere, I'm the lead source. So I'm going to find myself and add that as my lead source, right? That's how I do that one. Where they work. So it doesn't have to be, yeah. So it doesn't have to be, I know they're a nurse. I just don't know where they're a nurse. Put it in.
I have to throw it out there. How do you find out where they work?
Oh, I am a level 10 at Facebook stalker, sir.
I was going to go even more simple. Pick up the phone and call them.
I know.
Just have a conversation.
Right. But if you're doing some database digging and you're doing things like adding their Facebook profile, looking for birthdays, different things, just snag that info.
And those were two more, right? Those Facebook profile,
yep,
or social media profile, I should say, because it could be any of them.
Yep.
Facebook for us is the most important because we get to use them for social media interactions. Yeah. And when we get into campaigns later on, how we can target them through the database, through their Facebook URL.
Super important. That one's.
And then you mentioned birthday. So having a birthday in there is another 4%.
Yeah.
And so tags, lead source, where they work, birthday, and what was the fifth one? I missed it now.
Birthday, Facebook, social media.
Social media. Yep. So those are the 5 extra pieces to get us from 80% to 100%.
Yep.
Everything in there is going to help you stay in front of and stay in contact and enhance the relationships with every single person inside your database.
Right. And there are so many different personalities that and how they value different touches, right? Somebody like my husband, who's a paramedic full-time, can't always pick up the phone, but for communication, text message works great and email works great for him, right? He might not be able to pick up the phone. You have people who won't text, or, we still see wet signatures in this world, right? They don't have an email. We can't do digital signatures. So it's so important to have multiple ways to get in front of these people, right? One way doesn't always work. So let's try multiple ways.
Yep. So as you're cleaning up your CSV before we upload it, do your best to have separate seats So a husband seat, a wife seat, or spouse, however you want to break that up.
Mm-hmm.
You can have relationships in here, so you can still have them connected, but make sure we have a name, a phone number, an email, an address.
Absolutely.
I find is the bare minimum. Then additionally, lead source, tags, where they work, social media, and birthday. And all of those will take into account when we go in here. So once you've exported everything, once you've cleaned it all up, let's go ahead and move into where we have Brooke here. She's going to hit that download button, which is going to give you a clean blank template CSV file from KW that you're going to use to then go ahead and take the information from your CSV that you exported and get it into this CSV so all the columns align appropriately, and then upload it into Command nice and clean.
So super important to point out, Fred, there's a couple little things with the import sheet. Don't mess around with the columns or the rows. A lot of the time I have agents who say to me, my import failed, and they send me the sheet and they've gotten rid of all the columns that don't make sense to them. And I'm left with a lot. So I have to put it into the new sheet and get it put in correctly. Don't mess with the columns. Don't move them around, right? So just put
row 1, row 2, ignore visually. Do not touch it.
Correct. Perfect. It's, and it's tricky. You do have to go column by column. If you do have an MCTT, ask them for help on this. This is what we're here for. Oftentimes it takes us much less time than if you're not familiar with Command, or if your market center does leverage an outside company. Ask them for help with this. Okay.
Should we tell them about the pro tip we learned this morning about this import sheet?
Yeah.
So I know when I went in and cleaned up my CSV for the first time, I spent so much time putting in first name, middle name, last name, and make sure it was each one of those columns. And then I broke up the address between the street address, between the city and the state and postcode. We were playing around with it this morning and accidentally figured out that you don't actually have to do that. You can have everything in first name and everything under street address, and they will upload as needed.
They do. And there's some really cool things in here. Some of our people have vacation homes. You may know all their information on work, but what I love, what I always do is I try to tag my people so that I have tags as soon as I import them in. You do have the ability to have custom tags. And this one is super important. So any of the ones I'm going to pull into eEdge for the agents I help, I call them exactly what it is. eEdge import 2020. So that way, when I'm looking at that data, I know where this came from. So my custom tag is always going to be that. So that way, if I also want to sort my database or filter it when I'm in there and look for specific items, I can just quickly do that. Or if I'm like, where did this person come from? I have never heard this name. I can go, oh, that came from my old database. Let me check on that. Let me look through emails. Who is this person? And you can also put sources here if you do have them. So there's so many fields that you can bring over. Clean it here before it goes in. Clean it, clean it, clean it. Dirty in, dirty out. Clean in, clean out. Make your database usable from the get-go. Day one.
One thing I get a lot too from my agents is, Fred, there's a ton of people in here. I don't even know who they are. I don't know where they came from, their leads from, blah, 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 blah. My answer to that every single time is awesome. Do they have a pulse?
Call them.
My favorite script to use, I have about 3,500 people in my database. I didn't know most of them. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call every single one. And so my script to them was, hey, this is Fred Moore from BAM Realty Group, Keller Williams. At some point you had connected with myself or someone on my team. And I apologize. I don't remember when. And if you were looking to buy or sell real estate. But my question now is, do you have any plans in the near future? I'm starting now that conversation.
I love it.
I'm figuring out where they came from, who they are. I've gotten buyers and sellers both from that. I've gotten referrals from it.
If you're at home, this is where you hit pause. You scroll the video back a couple seconds and you write down exactly what Fred just said.
I love that.
That's a good podcast name. Fred just said we should do. We should do that.
Coming to you in 2025.
Coming to you. Find that domain. So how are we? So let me stop this share so you and I can get back on the screen. I can tell you how I'm communicating with our market center and with leadership, because this is so important. We have well over 400 agents in our market center, over multiple business centers, and only staff is really here and a few agents. I'm not able to see people like we used to. So I've made sheets. Do you know where I put these?
I do.
They're on the back of every bathroom stall for easy reading. That's not every door, every filing cabinet, every entrance, every paper towel holder, the microwave, the refrigerator. There's not an entrance or a place where somebody doesn't look at any height in this market center where this one sheet with the most important or the most often questions I'm getting asked are on. And I have a little QR code, so no matter where they are, they can scan it with their smartphone and go right to the KW Connect.
With the amount of pieces of paper that you've put out with all this information on it, I can't wait for someone to come in one night, take them all down, and wrap your office with them.
Right. Let's not give my agents.
There's absolutely no way that your agents can miss that, right? When they're in the office. So how else are we projecting this information to all of our agents when, like you said, there's only a handful of leaders and a couple agents in the office right now?
Got to be vocal. This is a painful thing for some people. And I think some people and some of our agents are just trying to ignore it because they think it's not really going to go away. We don't own this product. We don't own Market Leader at KW, right? So 1231, friends, this goes away, and I can't untangle that for you if you don't do something beforehand. Fred can't help you untangle that. You've got to make some decisions. So we are talking about it at our market center meetings. We meet weekly because we're so big. So we've talked about it on our market center. We have an internal Facebook page for our agents. We're there. We are sending my KW all associate posts. We are sending bulk emails from multiple voices because we know after a while they're going to ignore my emails, right? So emails are going out from other people. And we've put it on our webpage, our internal webpage. It is the first thing you see with how to get to more information. We've put it in their folders. I've printed more of these and it's in their agent folders. Like, it's everywhere. But I think that's important. Just like we said with our contacts, some people hear things different ways. I've also been picking up the phone and calling agents who I haven't seen in a while or who haven't been active on our market center meetings. And I know maybe are in a different part of their career than some of the newer agents that are plugged in. So I think it's also important to go through that list and see who's active, who's not active. If you've got referral agents, reach out to them because they may not be plugged in and know what's going on, but we got to be vocal. We've got to have written word, printed word, social media. I don't want 1231 someone to say to me, I didn't know this was going away. It's going to happen anyway. But, and we'll deal with it when it does. But
fantastic. So, I mean, what we've gone through in the past few minutes is how to export, the benefits of and importance of cleaning up your database prior to upload. We've told you what the main pieces are that you need to get into that file, how to get it into the correct template. Now we have everything in there. What do we do with it?
Import it. Let's go back.
Awesome.
So say you've got your beautiful spreadsheet. It's got everything you want. So you would save it. Make sure you save it as a CSV. If you save it as an Excel file, it may not upload. So do it as a CSV. A file, save it as CSV. If you're in Google Sheets, export it as a CSV.
Can you show me really quick in Excel what format to have it in first, and then how to save it as a CSV?
So it usually stays as a CSV depending on your settings.
I meant the column and the field format, right? Because we want to make sure all of those are formatted as text, so that we don't have ones as phone numbers or what have you.
So if you've never played with formatting, you could just need to make sure that it's either general or text. It reads zip codes. So if you've got a zip code that starts with a 0, like many of us do in New Hampshire or Massachusetts, it will read them. It will put that 0 in for you.
Assuming it's a text file, right? If you have it as a number, it will get rid of the 0.
But if you put everybody on one address line,
That's true.
get rid of that.
I love that.
So if you're in your postal code and you hit the column and I'm just clicked on the U, and that's going to select my entire column for infinity. However many rows in this column, it just selected it. Right up here on my main ribbon, I'm just going to go click here, and you can see there's all these different formats. You can keep it as general, or you can put it to text. So if I click here, it just changed the formatting. And now when I click on any of those rows or those cells, you can see that. Usually when you're in a CSV and you save it and you continue to save, it constantly yells at you. Do you know you're in a CSV? Yes, I know I'm in a CSV. Thank you very much. CSV, not CVS, stands for comma separated values. So what that really means in basic nerd speak is that after every single cell right here, so suffix, full legal name, about, a CSV puts a comma, and that comma is what tells Excel to move this to the next cell, to the next cell, to the next cell. That's why this is so important. It's almost like a universal language for spreadsheets. If you put it in Excel, it's Excel data. It's no longer comma separated values, so command cannot read it. Okay, so it's super important just to keep this. And then if you go to save and you're not sure, save as, and then you just choose. If my computer would catch its breath. And you can see right here, CSV, comma, delimited. Once you save it, you can go ahead and either drag and drop, or you can click to browse in your files and pull it right in.
Makes it seem so easy.
It is.
There really isn't too many steps for me to actually be able to do this.
And now mine was empty, so it's going to tell you something went wrong.
Yeah.
So it's empty.
If you are having any trouble at all, Brooke is always available to do all of this for you. No, I'm kidding. Your Market Center technology trainer, your leadership staff, they are there to help you every way they possibly can. So make sure to leverage them to get you through and get your contacts uploaded right into Command for you. And
quick last tip, always use the most recent CSV that lives in Command before you import any data, okay? As we add different features or things that you guys want in contacts, this CSV changes. So if you downloaded one 2 years ago, chances are it's not going to work. So you just need to shift everything to the new spreadsheet, save it as a CSV, and try to import it. Also, under your settings, if it says something went wrong, or you notice, hey, I imported 580 names, but only 500 are showing, there are error logs under your command settings, right? So when I go to settings on my name, command settings, and import logs, I can look at the log and it's going to tell me what failed. And I'm actually able to download a report and it's going to tell me why it failed. Most often, I'm seeing that there's not a period between things like Gmail and .com. So it's just a little bit of cleanup in that spreadsheet, fix it, and then get it right back in.
Awesome. Cool. So I'm really excited for this. I love that we're able to do this really quickly for them, show them show you how to set this up very quickly to make sure that on January 1st, you are all set, ready to go, and don't have to worry about the sunset of eEdge. So again, 12/31, eEdge is going away. So when you come into 2021, new year, new me, right? No more eEdge. You're going to be right into commands. All your contacts will be in. And that's when you get to then dive into your Market Center training, where they're going to have all kinds of technology classes for you to be able to set up your contacts fully, to set up your smart plans, get into your opportunities, start using campaigns. There's so many pieces inside of commands that your Market Center is ready to teach you. We at the region are here to teach and support you through this whole thing. And we're really excited to be partners with you through this adventure.
I love it. I love being able to come in every day and show the agents how to use and leverage command. It is so rewarding when their businesses change. So lean on us. That's what the MCTTs are here. Your Market Center Tech Trainers are for. That's what Fred and the region is for. And if you don't know who your MCTT is, reach out to your leadership and find out. Us nerds, we make ourselves pretty well known in the market center. So if you don't know, or if you don't think you have one, reach out to your leadership or reach out to Fred.
Yeah, absolutely. At any point in time, we're going to put you in the right direction, whether it's the right who, the right location. We'll make sure that you get the answers that you need to make sure that your business continues to skyrocket through next year and onward.
Awesome. Hey, Fred, when you post this, can you put the KW Connect page link in for the transition, just in case people are missing that red bar at the top of KW Connect that says eEdge is going away?
Absolutely, can do, will do. But again, Brooke, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I appreciate it. And I look forward to doing this many, many more times with you in the future. And agents, leadership, everyone in our world right now, thank you so much for being partners with us. We hope that you have a spectacular holiday season, and we will see you next year.
See ya. Thanks, Fred.